Hare Krishna, everyone. So, welcome to another session of our Srimad Bhagavatam. And today we'll be continuing our journey. I think it's the eighth chapter. We finished the seventh chapter of the third canto last week. So, today we'll be doing from verse 1 to verse 9, which is sort of one section. We'll focus on that. Yeah. So, before that, we'll do our prayers. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितां तां सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णकरुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमोऽस्तुते तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So we'll start with sharing the screen. Are you able to see the screen? The eighth chapter?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udhirayet Nashtaprayasha Bhadreshu नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवती नैष्ठकी शृण्वतां स्वकथा कृष्ण पुण्यश्रवण कीर्तनम हृदयन्तस्थो हि अभद्राणि विधुनोति सुहृत् सताम् मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घायते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरो दीनतारणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरम्. Hare Krishna. Welcome to this session. So, unfortunately, Subal Prabhu is traveling, so he said he will not be able to join. But we have a lot of friends here. So, let's start with this session. So, towards the end of the seventh chapter, Vidurji was glorifying Maitreya Muni because he was giving him so much knowledge. And he was giving him instructions, whatever questions he was asking of Maitreya Muni, he was getting all the answers. He was getting so satisfied spiritually. He was so enlivened because all his questions were spiritual in nature. Nothing was um, materialistic. Yeah. So he just wanted to ask questions which is not going to benefit just him, but people in general. Yeah. So everybody was going to be benefited out of this. And all these questions were indirectly or directly related to Krishna. So you were saying that the only means of attaining realization of these subject matters is by serving devotees like you, Maitreya Muni. Yeah. So that was his mode. And what we have to realize also is that in our spiritual journey, if we need to progress, there are two very important things which we need to keep in mind. One is Mahat Seva and second is Satam Kripa. So we have to be in this mood of serving the devotees of the Lord all the time. Yeah. We obviously cannot serve the Lord directly, but we have to serve the devotees of the Lord, and that will ensure that we get the kripa of the Satam. Yeah, the devotees, when they offer mercy, they are far more merciful than Krishna himself. Krishna is very merciful. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is most merciful. But the devotees of the Lord are more merciful than the Lord. Yeah, because they understand what our position is really, how much we are struggling, how desperate we are, how weak we are. Yeah. If we go in that mood with a service attitude, then they will bless us with their kripa. Yeah, we'll get their kripa. That's what we need. We can only sustain ourselves with the kripa of the devotees. So, chapter 8, it is entitled Manifestation of Brahma from Garbhodakashayi Vishnu. Are you able to see clearly? The text size is okay? Is it better now?
Yes, Prabhuji, it's okay.
It's okay. Okay, so I'll read the text then. So Maitreya Muni now is starting this chapter. He's going to talk for a few verses and then he's going to give a background. Basically, in this section, what it will be is that he'll start first of all by glorifying Vidurji, the position of Vidurji, and then he will go on to talk about how he got to receive this knowledge of Srimad Bhagavatam. So his parampara, how did he receive it and in what line did he get it? So that's what these verses are going to talk about basically. So first verse. Maitreya Vacha Satsevaniyo Batapuru Yallo Kapalo Bhagavat Pradhanaha Bhabhuvitegajitakeertimalam Pade Pade Nutana Yasya Abhikshnam. Maitreya Vacha, Sri Maitreya Muni said, Sat Sevaniya, worthy to serve the pure devotees. Bata, oh, Bata means it's an exclamation mark. He's so happy. Oh, he's like talking like that in that mood. Oh, certainly. Puru Vamsha, descendant of King Puru. Yet, because Lokapalaha, the kings are Bhagavat Pradhanaha, chiefly devoted to the personality of Godhead, जो भगवान को प्रधान मानते हैं. Babhuvitha, you are also born. Iha, in this. Ajita, the Lord who is unconquerable. Kirti Mala, chain of transcendental activities. Kirtiyon ki mala, yeah. All the activities of the Lord are automatically transcendental. Yeah, the mala is a chain or a mala. Pade pade, step by step. Nutanesi. Nutanyasi means become newer and newer. Abhikshanam means always. Translation. The great
Prabhu, I will
sage.
read. I will read.
Okay, sure.
The great sage Maitri thanked Vidur and praised him by reference to his family glories. The Puru dynasty was full of devotees
So,
of
Prabhu,
the
let me read the translation first. I haven't read the translation.
Okay.
I just read the word for word. So, just let me read the translation, then you read the purport. The great sage Maitreya Muni said to Vidur, the royal dynasty of King Puru is worthy to serve the pure devotees because all the descendants of that family are devoted to the personality of Godhead. You are also born in that family, and it is wonderful that because of your attempts, the transcendental pastimes of the Lord are becoming newer and newer at every moment. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Yes, Prabhu, now you can read. Thank you.
The great sage Maitri thanked Vidur and praised him by reference to his family glories. The Puru dynasty was full of devotees of the personality of the Godhead and was therefore glorious because they were not attached to impersonal Brahman or to the localized Paramatma, but were directly attached to Bhagwan, the personality of the Godhead. They were worthy to render service to the Lord and his pure devotees because Vidur was one of the descendants of that family, naturally he engaged in spreading wide and ever new glories of the Lord. Maitri felt happy to have such glorious company as Vidur. He considered the company of Vidur most desirable because such association can accelerate one's dormant propensities for devotional service. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Very nice. Thank you, Prabhu. So yeah, so now here, Maitreya Muni, even though he's been the one who's being asked the questions by Vidurji, yeah, he is expressing his gratitude. Yeah, he's so thankful to Vidurji and he's glorifying Vidurji because that is the understanding here that a pure devotee of the Lord, he is always very grateful to other devotees of the Lord who ask questions where there's a chance given to glorify the Lord. Yeah. So he's not saying that I am sitting in a superior position. No. He's saying that, oh, Bata. Bata means like, oh, you're so glorious. Yeah. I am so fortunate that you have given me this opportunity. And what is the mood of Maitreya Muni? He is using words like Sat Sevaniya. Yeah. Sat Sevaniya. आप सेवा के लायक हो. Yeah. Why? Because you're from the Puru Vamsha. Yeah. And here uh, he's got no problems or no discrimination thinking about the birth of Vidurji. Yeah. Material terms, if you think, Vidurji was born as a Dasi Putra. Yeah. Even though his father was Vyasdev, but he was born to a Dasi. And that was something which was always reminded to him by uh, Duryodhan. He was saying, "You're just a Dasi Putra, and you're not even faithful to the family. You're such a um, treacherous person." Yeah, all these bad words were used. But somebody like Maitreya Muni, he realizes the position of Vidurji. Vidurji is such an exalted devotee of the Lord. Why? Because when Krishna was winding up his pastimes on this earthly planet, the last instruction given, in a way, was to Maitreya Muni that Vidur will come, instruct him. Yeah, so how highly he rated Vidurji. And of course, we also know the pastime of how the Kauravas, Duryodhan and all had invited Krishna to have prasadam, and it was a lavish spread. Yeah, not chappan bhog, maybe 112 bhog. All the best of the dishes were prepared, and they wanted to impress upon Krishna, yeah, that how nicely we can honor you. But what did Krishna do? He went to Vidurji's house, and Vidurani, Vidurji's wife, she was there. And Krishna went and met her, and he honored prasadam there. And what was for prasadam? Bananas. And what was the mood of Vidurani? She was just so thrilled to see Krishna. Yeah, she was beside herself. She was so captivated by just looking at Krishna that she started feeding him the bananas. And in that ecstasy, she didn't realize that she was peeling the bananas, throwing the fruit itself, and giving the peel to Krishna. And what did Krishna do? He just ate it because it was given by Allah. He ate the peel. So that is the position of Vidurji. And Maitreya Muni, he realizes this. He is totally aware that what is the standing of um, Vidurji. So he is glorifying him because of the qualities of the question. Yeah. So this is the right mood of devotees. Yeah. That we should not think that if we are given a chance to talk about the Lord or we're sitting in a Vyasasana, that doesn't make us any superior. Persons asking the questions, they are also equally glorious. Yeah, so that is the mood. So even in In Bhagavad Gita 10.9, it says, Mat chitta mat gata prana bodhayantascha paraspara katanchasta mam nitya tushyanti cha ramanti cha. So what do the devotees do? Apas mein paraspar, they are always chanting my glories, talking about my pastimes. And उससे उनको क्या होता है? तुष्यंति चा रमंति चा, तुष्टि मिलती है और they get satisfaction, they get pleasure. But what happens if there are no devotees? So if there are no devotees, then a person will just, on his own, he'll be glorifying the Lord alone. But if anyone asks a question, yeah, about the Lord, he's thrilled to answer and talk about the glories of the Lord. So that is the beauty here, that Maitre Muni is not giving any material consideration to the position of Vidurji. He is seeing him as a pure devotee and holding him in very, very high esteem. So that is the mood. So if there is an inquirer asking about the Lord, then the devotee of the Lord is very happy to glorify the Lord and answer the questions. And the quality of the questions are also so important. So we've seen in Bhagavatam, it's all about question and answer. Yeah. Parikshit Maharaj is asking Shukadev Goswami. And so many times Shukadev Goswami has said that, what a question. Yes, let me answer you this question. Why? Because it's giving me a chance to glorify the Lord. And not only are you benefiting, Parikshit Maharaj, who's the inquirer, but whoever is listening also, they also get benefited. So that's the whole purpose of this, asking all these questions. Yeah. So what happens is that when we are seeing, when one is in a fairly elevated level as a devotee of the Lord, then he is seeing everyone with the same drishti, yeah, samadrishti. So he does not discriminate that one is higher or lower, and they forget about whether one is a class person or a lower class person. They don't see it like that. What they see is that even if it's an animal, yeah, Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavi Hastini Shuni Chaiva Swapake Cha Pandita Samadarshina. So the Pandit is always seeing everyone with an equal vision. He does not see the person as a Brahman, if he's an elephant, if he's a horse, if he's a dog, a dog eater. No, everybody is equally seen. So that's the same mood here also. And we see examples in Chaitanya Charitamrita also of this. For example, when Advaita Acharya, who was performing the Shraddh ceremony, then after that, the first honor, the first bhoga is given to the topmost of the Brahmins or Vaishnavas who are around. And whom did he pick? He picked Haridas Thakur, who was born in a Muslim family, who was a Yavan. But that's the glory of Haridas Thakur. He was given the name of Namacharya. He was given the position of Namacharya by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that is the thing, that these people go beyond all these things. Even Ramananda Rai, for example, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, he was a governor of Madras that time. And when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went, he went to specifically meet him in Rajamundri, yeah, by the banks of Godavari. And the way they met each other, they were hugging each other and all. And Ramananda Rai was actually from a Shudra family. And people were looking at them and wondering that what is happening? How come this sannyasi, who obviously seems to be a very great sannyasi, he's so effulgent, how come he's hugging a Shudra? So all these material designations do not matter when one is on the spiritual realm. Yeah, one is progressing spiritually. That's why my Guru Maharaj always says that whenever you preaching, you have to preach without any discrimination. Don't see the qualities of the person, the qualifications of the person who is there. All you have to do is try and give Krishna's name and Krishna's leelas to that other person. So that is the mood, really. And here, Srila Prabhupada has mentioned here also that the great sage Maitreya thanked Vidur. Why? Because he has given him a chance to glorify the Lord. You're asking me such wonderful questions. Yeah, that is what a devotee wants. I mean, when two Vaishnavas meet, what do? They only talk about Krishna and Krishna's. Talk about Krishna's himself, or talk about Krishna's devotees, talk about Krishna's pastimes, all those glories. So that's the mood. And another thing here is that he's Lokapalo and then Bhagavat Pradhana. That आपने भगवान को प्रधान रखा है. Yeah, you're not focusing on the Brahman aspect of the Lord. You're not focusing on the Paramatma aspect of the Lord. No, the Bhagavan aspect. Yeah, you have the topmost realization of the Lord. So that is also very important. Yeah, and that's what Srila Prabhupada has mentioned here. That directly all the services, your attachment is to Bhagavan. You realize your sambandha with Krishna. Yeah, so that is the understanding here. So they're all worthy to render service to the Lord and his pure devotees. Because Vidur was one of the descendants of that family. So not only are you from the Puru family, but you are a glory of the Puru family. Yeah, you make it Sat Sevaniya. That yes, the whole Puru dynasty, because of you, is worthy of seva. Yeah, offering seva. Maitreya felt happy to have such glorious company as Vidur. He considered the company of Vidur most desirable because such association can accelerate one's dormant propensities for devotional service. So that is the understanding here, that whenever we get a chance to be in the association of a pure devotee of a Lord, of a person who is realized soul, yeah, what do we mean by that? In our practical experiences, how we can do this? Whenever we get a chance to associate with a sannyasi, whenever a sannyasi is giving katha, whether it's in Dubai, whether anywhere, yeah, we should make all attempts to be there and gain from there. So what does it do? It accelerates one's dormant propensity for bhakti. Yeah, because this bhakti is in a sleep state in most of us. Yeah, definitely in me. So I need such people. I need association of pure devotees, because they will be so merciful and they'll just give Krishna so freely to people like me. Yeah. So that is what we have to understand here. Okay. Second verse. सोऽहं नृणां क्षुल्लसुखाय दुःखं महद्गतानां विरमाय तस्य प्रवर्तये भागवतं पुराणं यदाह साक्षात् भगवान् ऋषिभ्यः. Word for word translation by Srila Prabhupada. Saha, that, aham, I, nrinam, of the human beings, shulla, very little, sukhaya, for happiness, dukkham, distress, mahat, great, gatanam, entered into, viramaya, for mitigation, tasya, his, pravartaye, in beginning, Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam, Puranam, Vedic supplement, Yat, which, Aha, said, Sakshat, directly, Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead, Rishibhyah, unto the sages. Let me now begin speaking on Bhagavat Puran, which was directly spoken to the great sages by the personality of Godhead for the benefit of those who are entangled in extreme miseries for the sake of very little pleasure. Okay, anyone wants to read the purport?
Sure, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Purport. The sage Maitreya proposed to speak on Srimad Bhagavatam because it was especially compiled and traditionally comes down in the disciplic succession for the solution of all the problems of human society. Only one who is fortunate can have the opportunity to hear Srimad Bhagavatam in the association of pure devotees of the Lord. Under the spell of material energy, the living entities are entrapped in the bondage of many difficulties simply for the sake of a little bit of material happiness. They engage in fruitive activities not knowing the implications. Under the false impression that the body is the self, the living entities foolishly relate to so many false attachments. They think that they can engage with materialistic pa- paraphernalia forever. This gross misconception of life is so strong that a person suffers continually life after life under the external energy of the Lord. If one comes in contact with the book Bhagavatam as well as with the devotee Bhagavata who knows what the Bhagavatam is, then such a fortune man gets out of the material entanglement. Therefore, Sri Maitreya Muni, out of compassion for the suffering men in the world, proposes to speak Srimad Bhagavatam first and last. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Yes, Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Oh, such a nice purport also there. Okay. So in this verse now, what is Maitreya Muni saying? That people are running after Shulla Sukha. Shulla Sukha means just small happiness, material happiness. Main purpose of people in this material world is what? Try to do anartha nivritti and artha pravritti. Yeah. You want to get rid of all the anartha, all the miseries. Yeah. Kaise bhi I reduce all these miseries and I prosper myself. Yeah. Artha pravritti, increase my artha or my economic status. That's all people are get mainly entangled with. Yeah. Mainly focusing on these two things. And why? You're just getting the Shulla Sukha. Yeah. So this was the question which was asked by Vidurji in the seventh chapter also, that people are just focusing on these things. So you have to give me some answer that helps people get out of this thought. Yeah. Get out of this mentality that, yeah, let me just enjoy uh, in a small, in a way that I'm getting some little happiness, some little material happiness, and let me just get entangled in that only. There's no realization at all. Yeah, if you just focus on enjoying your senses, I, me, myself, if you're in that mode, then you will not realize that you're just getting entangled, and this small happiness which you're hankering for, it goes off even before it comes. It is really fleeting. Yeah, that's where the word shulla means. Yeah, it's very little. Yeah, it's not worth the effort one makes. So what is the thing then we have to keep in mind? We have to, uh, as it was mentioned in the first verse, that kirti malam. Yeah, we have to focus on glorifying the kirti of the Lord. String a garland of what? Of kathas. Yeah, talk about the kirtis of the Lord. So he's saying, Maitreya Muni is saying that you are asking such questions that I am able to uh, string a garland, which is of glorifying all the leelas of the Lord. Yeah. So sometimes what happens is that the thread which on which the garland is made, yeah, with the very fragrant flowers, the thread itself starts carrying this fragrance. So that is the position of somebody like Vidur, because he's always engaged in asking about the Lord's glories or talking about the Lord's glories. So he himself is become so fragrant because Krishna is in within himself, outside himself, everywhere. It's all about Krishna. Yeah. So that is one thing which is mentioned here. That's the meaning of this Kirti Malam. Yeah. That is something which I missed out. I just wanted to point out that also. So now he wants to talk about the Bhagavat. Yeah. I want to explain this Bhagavat Puran. Yeah. Which is spoken by the Lord to the sages in the past. Yeah. And why? Why is it spoken? Because it is removing all the sufferings of the Nirnana, yeah, all the normal people who are there. they're suffering, who have fallen into great distress. Mahad gatanam dukkham. Yeah. बहुत दुख है. Why? Because they're just seeking this insignificant happiness. Shulla sukha. Yeah. So because of that, you're just getting tired. End of the day, what are we getting? It's like the ass mentality. Yeah. Which is mentioned by Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. Where ass is working so hard throughout the day. For what? Just a little happiness in the end of the day, which also it does not get. It wants to have some time with the female ass, and when it goes to the female ass, the female ass just gives a kick to the male ass. Yeah. So there is no joy in this material world. If you're going to focus on trying to enjoy the material world, then that is really wasting our time, wasting our valuable human birth. So he wants to talk about this and again answers to all the questions which we may have, whether it is material in nature, whether it's spiritual in nature. It's all going to be there in the Srimad Bhagavatam. So that is why Maitreya Muni is saying that I will tell you of the glories of this work. Yeah. And he's saying that I saha, yeah, the saha means that and aham, sa aham. So I am a great disciple of the great Parashar Muni. Yeah, Parashar Muni. So he's going to talk about the lineage, how he got this knowledge of the Srimad Bhagavatam. So he spoke this verse. Now, Srimad Bhagavatam is called a Paramahamsa Puran. So what does that mean? Does it mean that this Srimad Bhagavatam is only for people who are already achieved the status of a Paramahamsa, not for ordinary people like us? People who are not yet reached that stage, who are struggling, who are trying to find out something to make some sense of this material world, how to lead this yourself in this material world, what is the final destination? Is it meant for only Paramahamsas? No. The understanding here, what the Vaishnavas, our senior acharyas give, is that Srimad Bhagavatam has the capability of making us into Paramahamsas. Yeah, it is not for Paramahamsas, it is for creating Paramahamsas. So if you take shelter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, if you listen to the Srimad Bhagavatam from authorized sources, it has the potency to make us all into Paramahamsas eventually. Yeah, where we get rid of these material entanglements, we focus more on the spiritual part, how to serve the Lord, how to serve the devotees of the Lord. That becomes the focus rather than enjoying these material senses. So then we all go on the path of becoming Paramahamsas. So that is the whole idea of this. Yeah? But what is happening is that the people are entrapped, the living entities are entrapped in the bondage of many difficulties simply for the sake of a little bit of happiness, as we said. A little bit of happiness comes and we are happy with that. We are struggling 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours, 14 hours a day. For what? For a little bit of happiness. In the end of the day, what happens that when all this material prosperity comes, it will come irrespective of whether you slog or not, because it is there in your prarabdha. It is there in the karma. But that does not mean that you don't do anything and just sit back and not do your duties. No, you do your duties, but have the sense that the main purpose of this human body is to serve the Lord. Yeah. Savai pumsam paro dharma yatho bhaktir adhokshaje ahetuki apratihata yayatma suprasidati. So that's the main purpose of this. What is the paro dharma? Is to serve the Lord. Yeah. Yatho bhaktir adhokshaja. We have to serve the Supreme Lord. That is what is going to give us happiness. Yeah. Atma ko suprasidati. Yeah. It makes us super happy. But we get entangled by these material things. We have all these false attachments, false material attachments which are there. Why is that? Because we identify with the body. Yeah. And then once we identify with this body, then you automatically get into that aham mameti. Yeah. This is mine. and this belongs to me. I and mine. Yeah, these two things we get entangled in that. So they think that they can engage with the materialistic paraphernalia forever. Never has there been any example in history where a person has worked hard to succeed materially and he has been able to live happily ever after. That is not going to happen. Whether it is a ruler of a country, whether it is an Ambani, whether it is an Adani, they all are going to have Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi. It's just a matter of time. It may seem that yes, they will never see poverty. They have all the investments in place. They're always going to be happy. They're always going to be in a luxury, which is correct. They can be in luxury, but can they escape disease? Can they escape old age? Can they escape death? Death comes, everything is gone. All this is of no value. Yeah. So that's why it is called illusion. Illusion does not mean that these things are not there. Yeah, everything is there. We have the house. We are in Dubai. We have the Burj Khalifa. But is it all these are these going to be here forever? No. So if we try to get attached to these things, material things, that is the illusion. That is the Maya Shakti, which is covering our intelligence. That no, these things are not to be getting attached to. We have to get attached to the Supreme Lord, to the devotees of the Lord. Yeah. So if one comes in contact with the book Bhagavatam as well as the devotee Bhagavat, who knows the Bhagavatam, then such a fortunate man. It's not for everyone. How many people are there in this forum now? And how many people are there outside the forum? Yeah. So it's very few fortunate people. It is because of some agyata sukriti we have done in our past life. Yeah. Something, some nice thing. It's not because of pious activities that we have done so much puja part and all. No, bhakti does not come because of that. Bhakti comes, the devotees come in our lives because of some agyat sukriti. So extremely fortunate men, they get in contact with the Bhagavat, they get in contact with the Srimad Bhagavatam, and there's a chance of getting out of the material entanglement. Therefore, Sri Maitreya Muni, out of compassion for the suffering man in the world, proposes to speak the Srimad Bhagavatam first and last. That means he's not going to talk about anything else. He's only going to talk about Srimad Bhagavatam. Any questions here? Is it clear so far what the mood is, how the build-up is? Yeah. Maitreya Muni is very grateful. Yeah, he's saying that thank you, Vidurji. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to glorify Krishna, to glorify Srimad Bhagavatam. So since you have asked such wonderful questions, so let me talk about the Srimad Bhagavatam. And then he is now going to give that how this knowledge came to him. Yeah. So that is the thing.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes.
Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Amrit Prabhu.
Prabhuji, what are the instances when Lord Krishna has told Srimad Bhagavatam to the sages? Can you please tell me a few instances, Prabhu? Directly to the sages?
So this is, of course, here when we go down in this following verses, it is the four Kumaras who are going to talk to Sankarshan. Sankarshan is going to talk about it. Otherwise, of course, all these are coming in the four paramparas, yeah, which we have, the four authorized paramparas. Mainly, the Bhagavatam will be coming in that lineage only, whether it is the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. So we know that this knowledge was given by Brahmaji to Narad Muni, from Narad Muni to Vyasdev. All this knowledge, including the Srimad Bhagavatam, that is one of the parampara. And then it came to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Madhvacharya, Madhavendra Puri, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Srila Prabhupada, and then it's come to us. That is one parampara. The second one is the Rudra parampara. So Shivji is talking the Srimad Bhagavatam to Parvati ji, and that time Shuka, a parrot, is listening to it, the whole thing. And this is very confidential. It was only for the ears of Parvati ji. But the Shuka heard it, and then Shivji was chasing it, and then Shuka entered the mouth of Vyasdev's wife, and then he was born as Shukadev. So that's another thing. So that's how it has to come from the Lord, and then it has to come in these four paramparas. So these are the examples, and then you have um, the fourth parampara, Sri Sampradaya, and um, the four Kumaras, the Kumara Sampradaya. So this is the Kumara Sampradaya we're talking about. So this is where they're going to get the knowledge from. So as we go down further in this verses till the ninth verse, it will be clearer. This is one of the examples. Yeah. So
Thank
of
you.
course, the fountainhead of all the knowledge is of course Krishna, but then it comes from Krishna to some. Now in this case, it's coming from Sankarshan to the four Kumaras. Is it
I
okay?
think
Thank you.
Prabhu, the next verse is talks about that only.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it'll be clearer once we see this. Yeah.
Thank you,
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna, Prabhu.
Hi, Krishna.
Prabhuji, you're saying that Shukdev Goswami listened from Shiva ji. So is he from Rudra Sampradaya then?
Yeah, you can say he's from the Rudra Sampradaya because it's come from Shivji. The knowledge has come. But then what we have to see is that where we are getting this knowledge, the knowledge is the same. The Srimad Bhagavatam, the contents are not changing. Yeah, it's going to be the same. But yes, he's got it from Shivji only. So he will be from the Rudra Sampradaya. We are from the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. But we are reading what Shukadev Goswami is saying. This
Yeah.
Bhagavatam is related by him. But that doesn't mean that we are from the Rudra Sampradaya. Yeah, we are from
Yeah.
the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. So that is
Thank
how
you.
it is. Hey, Krishna. So verse 3. आसीनमुर्व्यां भगवन्तमाद्यं सङ्कर्षणं देवमकुण्ठसत्त्वं विवित्सवस्तत्त्वम् अतः परस्य कुमारमुख्या मुनयोन्वपृच्छन्. Word for word translation by Srila Prabhupada. Asinam, yeah, asan grahan kiya tha, seated. Urvyam, in the bottom of the ocean. Bhagavantam, unto the Lord. Adyam, the original, Adi, sabse pehle. Sankarshanam, Sankarshan. Devam, the personality of Godhead. Akuntha Sattvam, undeterred knowledge. Vivitsavaha, being inquisitive to know. Tattvam ataha, truth like this. Yeah, tattvatam, yeah, knowing it fully, depth mein. Parasya, regarding the supreme personality of Godhead. Kumara, the boy saint. Mukhyaha, headed by Muneyaha, great sages. Anvaprichan, inquired like this. Translation. Some time ago, being inquisitive to know, Sanat Kumar, the chief of the boy saints, accompanied by other great sages, inquired exactly like you about the truths regarding Vasudev, the Supreme, from Lord Sankarshan, who is seated at the bottom of the universe. Yeah. Anyone wants to read the purport?
This is in clarification of the statement that the Lord spoke directly to on the Srimad Bhagavatam. When and unto whom the Bhagavatam was spoken is explained herewith. Questions similar to those put forward by Vidur were asked by great sages like Sanat Kumar and Lord Shankarshan, the plenary expansion of the Supreme Lord Vasudev, answered them. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. So now we are getting to know about the line in which Maitreya Muni got this knowledge from. Yeah. So it's not that this is the only time Srimad Bhagavatam was spoken. Yeah, it was spoken many, many times, but by different people. Yeah. So, like Narad Muni spoke to Kayadu, yeah, when Prahlad Maharaj was within the womb. So he spoke so many things, and in that Srimad Bhagavatam was also there. So he heard it when he was an embryo. So different sources are there, yeah, and that is what the mode of devotees is, that they always want to talk about the glories of the Lord, glories of the devotees, which is what Srimad Bhagavatam is all about. Yeah. So one time the sages, which was headed by Sanat Kumar, yeah, he was so Sanatadi, normally it's always called Sanat, Sanandan, Sanaka, yeah, Sanatan. These are the four Kumaras. So they went, so he was the Mukhya, Kumar Mukhya Munaya. Mukhya mein Sanat ka naam pehle aata hai. So he's the one. So he was very inquisitive. They were very inquisitive. So they wanted to know in Tattva. Yeah, Tattva Tattvam Ataha. They wanted to know in Tattva, just give us the full knowledge. And who are they approaching? They're approaching Sankarshan, who is seated at the bottom of the ocean. Yeah. And Akuntha Sattvam, yeah, means which is means a body of indestructible knowledge. Yeah. Akuntha Sattvam. It's Shuddha Sattva. Yeah. And they're asking about Vasudev to Sankarshan. So that is the thing. So gradually Maitreya Muni is saying that this is how this my parampara came. Yeah. Swamev dhishyam bahumanayantam yadvasudeva भिदमामनन्ति प्रत्यग्धृताक्षाम्बुजकोशमीषद् उन्मीलयन्तं विबुधोदयाय. This is very interesting verse. So beautifully it's written. So Swam, himself, Eva, thus, Dhishnyam, situated, Bahu, greatly, Manayantam, esteemed, Yat, that which, Vasudev, Lord Vasudev, Abhidan, by the name, Amananti, acknowledge, Pratyag Dhrita Aksha, eyes settled for introspection, Ambuja Kosham, lotus-like, Ishat, slightly, Unmilayantam, opened, yeah, Unmilay, that, Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena. Unmilitam means open. Yeah. Open my eyes. So slightly opened Unmilayantam. Vibhuddha of the greatly learned sages. Udayaya for the sake of advancement. Unka uday ho. Yeah. Aur aage badhe. So that was the mode. So at that time, Lord Sankarshan was meditating upon his Supreme Lord, whom the learned esteem as Lord Vasudev. But for the sake of advancement of the Lord, for the sake of advancement of the great learned sages, he slightly opened his lotus-like eyes and began to speak. So here it is very interesting that it's describing, of course, Lord Sankarshan, yeah, worshipping this form of Lord Vasudeva. Yes, Vasudeva Abhidanam, yeah. That is his, well, that's what he was doing. That he was focusing, he was meditating on Vasudeva. And who is Vasudeva? Vasudeva is Swam Eva Dhishnyam, my own shelter, his own shelter, yeah. He had taken shelter of, Sankarshan had taken shelter of Vasudeva, yeah. And he's somebody who's praised by wise men. Yeah. So that is Manayantam Bahu Amananti. Yeah. All these Manayantam, all these wise men who are there, they're praising him. And Sankarshan he had slightly opened his eyes. Yeah? Unmilayantam. Yeah. So Ishat Unmilayantam. That is, eyes were slightly opened. And what did he do? He was concentrated deeply in the meditation. So Pratyek Dhrita Aksha. So it is slightly contradictory because when he's meditating, his eyes are closed. He's meditating on the Lord. Then also says that his eyes are slightly opened because he wanted to benefit the four Kumaras. Yeah. So now here there is a very subtle indication, and this is even though there's no purport here, but Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in his commentary, he says that there is a subtle indication of here where the position of the Amsha and the Amshi is mentioned. So Sankarshan is the first expansion. Yeah, he's an Amsha of Krishna. And the Amshi is that he is in the mood where it is very subtly explained here, but same thing in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. All the Amshis who are there, for example, Advaita Acharya, he is the Vishnu Tattva, but he has got this Dasa Abhiman. Yeah, I am the servant of the God. I am so proud of it. कोई शर्म की बात नहीं है कि I am a das. Yeah, that is a very exalted position. So here it is shown very subtly that yes, he is lying. And what is he doing? Yeah, he's non-different from the Lord, but he is meditating on the Lord, meditating on the glories of the Lord. His eyes are closed, his eyes are open also at the same time. Very bewildering. Yeah. It's not easy to understand. If you just try to think about it in a material way, how can it be possible? Because he is in Yoga Nidra. His Nidra is not like our Nidra, that we are sleeping, so we are sleeping, we are not conscious. Here he is fully conscious. Okay, the four Kumaras have come, but I am in my Yoga Nidra. I am thinking of the Lord at the same time. Yeah. So he's worshipping to his own shelter. Yeah. Swamdhishnyam. That is my own shelter. Swam eva dhishnyam. मेरा खुद का जो shelter है वो है Krishna. I am just focusing on Krishna. Yeah, I'm lying there. And at that time, the four Kumaras have come. Darshan of Krishna. But externally, okay, since you've asked this question, you four Kumaras, you've come and asked the question, I'm going to give you an answer. Yeah. So that is where we are.
Prabhu, one thing.
Yes.
Sankarshan is a matlab human being, na? Not or a
He comes in various forms. So here it will be he's coming as a snake. So it will come in the further verses also that the fun also is there. His fun is there. So Sankarshan is he's the first expansion. Balram is the first expansion. Then from Balram, Sankarshan is there are two Chaturvyas, two expansions are there.
yeah.
So Sankarshan is the main. So Sankarshan is the one who is always providing all kinds of services to the Lord. Yeah.
So he's a serpent like you can mean.
Here is the funny. Yeah, he's a Nag Devta. That's
Okay.
right. Yeah. So in the bed of snake on which Lord will take Shaya. Yeah. So Garbhodaka Shaya Vishnu. So he'll take shelter or lie down on the bed of snake. Yeah. So that is the thing. Yeah. स्वर्धुन्युदार्धे उदार्ध्रे स्वजातकलापेर् उपस्पृशन्तश्चरणापुधानम् पद्मं यदर्चन्त्य अहि राजकन्याः सप्रेम नानाबलिभिर्वराथः. Word for word translation. Swardhuni Uda, by the water of the Ganges. Ardhre, being moistened. Swajata, bunch of hairs. Jata, not jata, jata. Swajata, jata means पूरे बड़े बाल हैं इनके. किनके? Four Kumaras की बात हो रही है. We're talking about that. But normally we know them as four bald boys, right? But here, see, it's saying that the hair is moistened. We'll read the translation, it will be clearer. Kalapahi, situated on the head. Yeah, Swajata, which is there on their head. Upash, upash prashantaha, by so touching, sparsh karke. Charana upadhanam, the shelter of his feet. His feet means H capital has Krishna's feet or the lotus feet of Sankarshan. Padmam, the lotus shelter. Yat, that which Archanti worships. Ahiraja, the serpent king, king of snakes. Kanyaha, daughters. Saprema, with great devotion. Nana, various Balidihi, paraphernalia. Vara artha, being desire of husbands. कि हमें अच्छा वर मिले. What is the artha? What is the cause? Why am I doing all these offerings of the prayer? So that I get a nice var. Yeah. The sages came from the highest planet down to the lower regions through the water of the Ganges, and therefore the hair on their heads was wet. They touched the lotus feet of the Lord, which are worshipped with various paraphernalia by the daughters of the serpent king when they desired good husbands. So just an understanding is given that they touch the lotus feet of the Lord, who is always prayed to by the daughters of the serpent kings when they want good husbands. Yeah. So they want the benediction, the daughters of the serpent kings, they go to the lotus feet of the Lord. Okay.
I'll read the
So,
purport, Prabhuji.
yes, please.
Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. The Ganges water flows directly from the lotus feet of Vishnu, and its course runs from the highest planet of the universe down to the lowest. The sages came down from Satyalok by taking advantage of the flowing water, a process of transportation made possible by the power of mystic yoga. If a river flows thousands and thousands of miles, a perfect yogi can at once transport himself from one place to another simply by dipping in its water. The Ganges is the only celestial river which flows throughout the universe, and great sages travel all over the universe via this sacred river. The statement that their hair was wet indicates that it was directly moistened by the water originating from the lotus feet of Vishnu, the Ganges. Whoever touches the water of the Ganges to his head surely touches the lotus feet of Lord directly and can become free from all effects of sinful acts. If after taking a bath in the Ganges or being washed all of sins, a man guards himself against committing further sinful acts, then certainly he is delivered. But if he again takes up sinful activities, his bath in the Ganges is as good as that of the elephant, who nicely takes his bath in a river but later spoils the whole thing by covering himself with dust on the land. Jai Srila Prabhupada, Hare Krishna.
Yes, Hare Krishna. Beautiful. So nicely, Srila Prabhupada has explained this. So where are the four Kumaras? They're just wandering about here. So we know that they had approached the Vaikuntha planets also, and then they encountered Jai Vijay, and then there was this fight between them, and then all the things which followed. Jai Vijay having to take three births as in demoniac families and all. So they were there in the Vaikuntha planets, and now where they are. So they're all so eager to hear about the glories of the Lord. Acha, haan, Sankarshan, wahan pe Patal Lok. Let's go there. And here it's mentioned that their jata is getting wet. So maybe different days or different kalpas, different days of Brahmas. Yeah. So there can be kalpa bhed also when the story is related. So it's not necessary that the four Kumaras are always bald. Sometimes they may have long hair also, as is evident from here. So what did they do? Oh, we have to go to Patal Lok. How do we go there? Oh, the Ganges is flowing there. Yes, Ma Ganga ka will take the help. And what is Srila Prabhupada saying? That they are all yogis. Yeah, they are all mystic yogis. So they just use this as a process of transportation by the power of mystic yoga. They just start at one end of Ganga and automatically reach the other end with no problems. A perfect yogi can at once transport. So what happened then when they transported themselves? The hair all got wet. So this is the description given of how the four Kumaras reached the Patal Lok, where Lord Sankarshan was situated. Yeah. And what was the purpose to go there? To ask about Srimad Bhagavatam. Please talk about the Lord. We want to hear about the Lord. And what is the position of Sankarshan? He is one who is always being offered prayers by the daughters of the serpent kings. And what is the mood? Why are they doing this? So that we get good husbands. Yeah. So vara artha. Why are they? Because I get a good var. That is the mood. Yeah. So the hair was wet and they reached there. And again, the glories of the Ma Ganga is given here by Srila Prabhupada because it's coming directly touching from the emanating from the lotus feet of the Lord. So when you touch the Ganga, put it on your head, it's as good as touching the Lord's feet on your head. It rids you of all your sinful activities. But that does not mean that it removes the propensity to commit sins. So that's why Srila Prabhupada is cautioning here. A man, if once you have a bath in Ganga, if a man is able to guard himself against further sinful activities, yeah, I will not commit any other sinful activities, then he is delivered. But that does not mean ki naha liya ek bari, sins are removed. Then again, if he takes up his sinful activities and then again he goes, okay, I'll go and bathe in the Ganges. It's like chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Yeah, using one of the 10 offenses is to think of it as a pious activity and think that it will rid you of your sinful reactions. So I chant my round, 16 rounds in the morning, and then I commit all sinful activities. And then tomorrow when I chant the 16 rounds, all these sinful activities are removed. No, that is a wrong understanding. That is how an elephant is bathing. Yeah. It has a nice bath and then comes and put all the sand on its body again and becomes dirty. So he's forewarning us against this also that yeah, Ganga Snan ho gaya, everything is clear, I'm fine. No, you have to do bhakti, devotional service, active, loving devotional service to the Lord. That is what is going to remove this seeds or this intention of committing aparadh, yeah, committing all these sinful activities. That is removed only by performing active bhakti, active devotional service to the Lord. And then continuing with verse 6. मुहुर्गृणन्तो वचसानुरागा स्खलत्पदेनस्य कृतन्तज्ञाः किरीटसहस्रमणिप्रवेका प्रद्योतितो दाम फणसहस्रम्. Muhu, again and again. Granantah, glorifying. Vachasa, by words. Anurag, with great affection. Yeah, rag means affection, anurag, even more affection. Skhalat Padena, with symmetrical rhythm. अच्छे पद में गा रहे थे. They were glorifying so beautifully. Asya, of the Lord. Kritani, activities. Tadnya, those who know the pastimes. Kirita, helmets. Yeah, Kridam, इसको कहते हैं. Kirita, helmets. Sahasra, 1,000. Mani Praveka, glowing effulgence of the valuable stones. Yeah, there were valuable stones on the head. So there was a effulgence coming from that. Pradyotita, Pradyotita, emanating from. Yeah, वहां से उज्जवल होता है. Uddama, raised. Fana, hoods. Sahasram, 1,000. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. The four Kumaras, headed by Sanat Kumar, who all knew the transcendental pastimes of the Lord, glorified the Lord in rhythmic accents with selected words full of affection and love. At that time, Lord Sankarshan, with his thousands of raised hoods, began to radiate an effulgence from the glowing stones on his head. So if you can just imagine, Lord Sankarshan is lying in the Anantashesh form. Yeah, thousands of head, so effulgent. Each of the head has a mani on top, and there is so much light coming from that. So all these lower planetary systems, there is no sunlight there. All the light comes from the these kind of manis which are there on the heads of the various the serpents who are there, Nagalok and all which are there. They are illuminated by that only. Okay. Can someone read the purport?
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji. Yeah,
Sure.
purport by Sri
Sure.
Prabhupada ji. Jai Sri Prabhupada. The Lord is sometimes addressed as Uttama Shloka, which means one who is worshipped with selected words by devotees. A profusion of such selected words comes from a devotee who is fully absorbed in affection and love for the devotional service of the Lord. There are many instances in which even a small boy who was a great devotee of the Lord could offer excellent prayers in the choicest words for glorification of the pastimes of the Lord. In other words, without the development of fine affection and love, one cannot offer prayers to the Lord very suitably. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Jai Srila Prabhupada. Again, very nice. Nice. Small purport, but so much bhav is there. And so much he wants to give. You can sense the mood of Srila Prabhupada that he wants to give so much to anyone who's reading these purports. Yeah. So the sages come, the four sages come, and knowing the Lord, so Tadjnana, so they have the knowledge that He is the Supreme Lord. Yeah. So they glorified Him again and again. Muhuhu. Yeah. Muhuhu means again and again. Grananto. Muhuhu Grananto. And what were they talking about? All his activities. Yeah. All his Ritani, all the karya which he was doing. And they were using such nice words for doing it. Yeah. Why? Because there was so much anurag in them. Yeah, there was so much attachment. They had so much, and all these syllables, what they were speaking, it was all choked with love. Yeah, and then they addressed the Lord um, with 1,000 hoods, the one who had 1,000 hoods and who had thousands of crowns also. Sahasra Kirita, yeah, on the Sahasra fund, and each of them had this money. Yeah. Mani Praveka. So it was really effulgent because of the money, the light coming from that. So here Srila Prabhupada is saying that the Lord is sometimes addressed as Uttama Shloka, one who is always worshipped with the top words. Yeah, top shlokas are for whom? For Krishna. So anything which is topmost coming from the mouths of devotees, it is for Krishna. So the Uttam Shlok is for Krishna. So Krishna is also called as Uttam Shlok because he is the one who's receiving the Uttam Shlok, or any Shlok which is offered to Krishna becomes Uttam Shlok also, because that is the beauty of Krishna. Yeah. Anything offered to Krishna becomes the topmost automatically. A profusion of such selected words from a devotee who's fully absorbed in affection and love for the devotional service. So when somebody is fully absorbed in the glories of the Lord, then automatically such profusion of such verses, such words come. Yeah, you want to glorify the Lord, and there are instances where even a small boy. Yeah. So who is the small boy you think?
Prahlad Maharaj.
That is one example. Another small boy, 5-year-old,
Dhruv
Dhruv.
Maharaj.
Dhruv
Gopalji.
Maharaj.
Dhruv Maharaj also. Because Dhruv Maharaj, he got the darshan of the Lord and he didn't know what to say. Now, what do I say? Oh Lord, I don't even know any shlokas, nothing. What did the Lord do? He placed his shankh on top of on top of Dhruv Maharaj's head, and automatically all the knowledge came, all the love and affection, all the shlokas came automatically. Yeah. So that is the thing that you have to have that love and affection. Gyan apne aap aa jayega. The verses will automatically. If Krishna comes in front of you, obviously we are going to be tongue-tied. Yeah, there's nothing is going to, but Krishna will smile at us and he'll say, "Okay, lo, take all the knowledge. Now you glorify me." Why? Because not because Krishna wants to hear his glories. No, he doesn't. But he wants us to be happy. Because you can imagine the pleasure which these four Kumaras are getting by glorifying the Lord. Yeah. So that Krishna wants to give that pleasure. He doesn't want people to come and sing his glories. No, that's not what his desire is. Yeah. So his mood is totally different. So without the development of fine affection and love, one cannot offer prayers to the Lord very suitably. So that is why when we're doing this Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhav and all these shlokas we have to memorize as part of that. That's not for our own prestige that, oh, I know 200 shlokas of Srimad Bhagavatam. No, what value is that? That is because it's an offering to the Lord that, hey Krishna, I'm trying to learn this shloka. Please help me. So that when I'm there at the altar facing you, at least I have something to offer to you. Some shlokas I want to offer to you. That is the mood with which we should approach these shlokas. Yeah. Next, 7th verse. Proktam kiletad bhagavattamena nivritti dharmabhiratayatena sanat kumaraya sachaha prishtah shankhyayana nayang dhrita vritaya. Word for word translation. Proktam was said, kila certainly, etat this Bhagavat Tamena by Lord Sankarshan. Nivriti, renunciation. Dharma Abhirataya, unto one who has taken this religious vow. Tena, by him. Sanat Kumaraya, unto Sanat Kumara. Saha, he. Cha, also. Aha, said. Prishtha, when inquired of. Sankhyayanaya, unto the great sage Sankhyayanaya. Sankhyayana. Anga, my dear Vidur. Dhrita Vrataya, unto one who has taken such a vow. Vrat जिसने लिया है, जिसने vow लिया है. Lord Sankarshan thus spoke the purport of Srimad Bhagavatam to the great sage Sanat Kumar, who had already taken the vow of renunciation. Sanat Kumar also in his turn, when inquired of by Sankhyayan Muni, explained Srimad Bhagavatam as he had heard it from Sankarshan. So this is the parampara. Yeah, as it's flowing. Sankarshan say Sanakadi, and then Sanakadi say it's gone to Sankhyayan. So please, anyone wants to
I
read
can
the.
read, Prabhuji.
Yes, please.
Purport. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. This is the way of the Parampara system. Although Sanatana Kumara, the well-known great saintly Kumara, was in the perfect stage of life, still he heard the message of Srimad Bhagavatam from Lord Sankarshana. Similarly, when he was questioned by
Sankhya.
Sankyayana Rishi, he spoke to him the same message he had heard from the Lord Sankarsana. In other words, unless one hears from the proper authority, one cannot become a preacher. In devotional service, therefore, two items out of the 9, namely hearing and chanting, are most important. Without hearing nicely, one cannot preach the message of Vedic knowledge. Jai Srila Prabhupada, Hare Krishna.
Srila Prabhupada ki. So it's a fairly straightforward shloka. This translation is very simple. Yeah. So whatever they heard, the Sanakadi, Kumara, the 4 Kumaras, they heard from Sankarsana. So whatever they heard, they were in turn asked by Sankhya Muni that please, what did you hear? Will you please share it with us? And what is the mood of devotees? Yeah, when anyone is asked anything about the Lord's pastimes, the Lord's glories, the Lord's paraphernalia, they are in the mood to give all this information. Yeah, they don't want to hold it back. No, I know this. I won't give it to you. No, they want to give it to everyone. So that is the parampara system. Yeah, authorized parampara system. Authorized. He got the correct information from Sankarshan, and then he's passing on to further down to anyone who's asking him. Yeah, that interest has to be there. That inquisitiveness has to be there. That I want to know about the Lord. Please tell me. Yeah. So he is already in the perfectest state, but still he wants to hear the Srimad Bhagavatam again and again. So he is asked Lord Sankarshan. Similarly, Sankhya Rishi, when he was questioned, so the same message came to him. And again, Srila Prabhupada is emphasizing here on 2 things, yeah, Shravanam and Kirtanam. One has to have this habit of listening to lectures. The more you hear, the more you absorb, yeah, and then don't keep it with you, yeah. You have to do Kirtanam also. You have to give it to others also. So without hearing nicely, it's very difficult to preach also. Yeah. So you have to be in the mood of hearing and not just retaining it. Yeah. You have to pass it on to the others. And then what happened? Once Sankhya Rishi or Muni, he heard this, then what did he do? Sankhyayana paramahamsya mukhyo vivakshamano bhagavat vibhutihi Jagadasosmad nivityaya parasharayat brihaspatishcha. Word for word translation. Sankhyayana, the great sage Sankhyayana, Paramahamsa Mukhaya, the chief of all transcendentalist, Vivakshamanaha, while reciting Bhagavata Vibhutihi, the glories of the Lord. Bhagwan ki Vibhutiyan, yeah, all the glories, all the qualities of the Lord. Yeah. Because Lord is Vibhu. Vibhuti means the greatness of the Lord. Yeah. So Vibhutihi, talking about all the greatness or glories of the Lord. Jagada explained, Saha, he, Asmat of me, Gurave, unto the spiritual master, Anvitaya, Anvitaya means followed, Parasharaya, unto the sage Parashar, Atha Brihaspate cha, also to Brihaspati. Brihaspati is the priest of all the Devatas. Translation: the great sage Sankhyayana was the chief amongst the transcendentalists, and when he was describing the glories of the Lord in terms of Srimad Bhagavatam, it so happened that my spiritual master, Parashar, and Brihaspati both heard him. So that is what's being explained here again, that from the four Kumaras, it came to Sankhyayana, and then Sankhyayana further spoke about this, the glories of the Lord, in terms of the Srimad Bhagavatam, to Parashar Muni, who is my spiritual master. I am Maitra Muni, my spiritual master, and that time even Brihaspati ji was there. Yeah. So hearing all these things, so this is just being this talking about the flow in which it has come to Maitreya Muni. So this is the last verse for today. We'll stop after this. Provacha mahyam sadaya dayalurukto muni pulatsyena purana madhyam soham tavaitat kathayami vatsa shraddhalave nityamanuvrtaya. Word for word translation. Provacha said, Mahyam unto me, Saha he, Dayaluhu, kind-hearted, Uktaha, aforementioned, Munihi, sage, Pulatsyena, by the sage Pulatsya, Puranam Adyam, the foremost of the Puranas, Saha Aham, that also I, Tava unto you, Etat, this, Kathayami, shall speak, Vatsa, my dear son, Shraddhalave, unto one who is faithful, Nityam, always, Anuvrataya, unto one who is a follower. So what is the translation by Srila Prabhupada here? The great sage Parashar, as aforementioned, being so advised by the great sage Pulatsya, spoke unto me. So Pulatsya Muni told Parashar Muni that please relay this to Maitreya Muni. Yeah. So being so advised by the great sage Pulatsya, spoke unto me the foremost of the Puranas, which is the Bhagavatam. I shall also describe this before you, my dear son. Vatsa, he's calling him as son, because he is so overcome with affection to him. So beta, I will tell this to you in terms of my hearing, because you are always my faithful follower. And here, the Nityam is always, yeah. So not just I'm going to stop with you, and not are you also going to stop with this knowledge, yeah. We'll always be passing it on eternally. Okay. Anyone who wants to?
Yeah, I'll read
Yes.
first. Hare Krishna, purport. The great sage, the great sage of the name Pulasya is the father of all demonic descendants. Once upon a time, Parasara began a sacrifice in which all the demons were to be burned to death because his father had been killed and devoured by one of them. The great sage Vasishtha Muni arrived at the sacrifice and requested Parasara to stop the deadly action. And because of Vasishtha's position and respect in the community of sages, Parasara could not deny the request. Parasara, having stopped the sacrifice, Pulasya, the father of the demons, appreciated his Brahminical temperament and gave the blessings that in the future he would be a great speaker on Vedic literatures called Puranas, the supplements of the Vedas. Parasara's action was appreciated by Pulasya because Parasara had forgiven the demons out of his Brahminical power of forgiveness. Parasara was able to demolish all the demons in the sacrifice, but he considered demons are so made that they devour living creatures, men and animals. But why on that account should I withdraw my Brahminical qualification of forgiveness? As the great speaker of the Puranas, Parasara first of all spoke on the Srimad Bhagavata Purana because it is the foremost of all the Puranas. Maitreya Muni desired to narrate the same Bhagavatam we had heard from Parasara, and Vidura was qualified to hear it because of his faithless and his following the instructions received from superiors. So Srimad Bhagavatam was being narrated from time immemorial by the disciplic succession even before the time of Vyasadeva. The so-called historians calculate the Puranas to be only a few hundred years old, but factually the Puranas existed from time immemorial, before all historical calculations by the mundaners and speculative philosophers. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Srila Prabhupada. So yeah, a little history is given here by Srila Prabhupada, that what was happening and why. Um, so Pulatsya Rishi is the from him only all the Rakshasas, the Vanaras, the Kinnaras, the Gandharvas, the Yakshas, all have descended from Pulatsya Rishi only. And there was a time when Parashar Muni, his father had been killed by the demons. So he wanted to do a big sacrifice. He's a great Brahmin. He wanted to do a big sacrifice, um, and the purpose of the sacrifice was to kill all the demons. Yeah, put an end to all the deadly actions which the demons were doing, because he wanted to take revenge. But at that time, fortunately, Vashishta Muni came and he said that you are a Brahman after all. So one of the qualities, top qualities of a Brahman is forgiveness. So please forgive all these demons. And I give you a benediction that you will be able to speak the Srimad Bhagavatam eternally and gloriously. Not just the Bhagavatam, all the Vedic wisdom you will be able to give to others. And then he reconsidered that, yeah, fine, I am a Brahmin, I have to be considerate. And and that is why he said, okay, I will stop this sacrifice. I will not kill all these demons. Instead, he chose to speak the Srimad Bhagavat Puran to Maitreya Muni, and Maitreya Muni in turn uh, gave it to Vidurji, because Vidurji had full faithfulness, yeah, because of his faithfulness and his following the instructions received from the superior. So you need to have the faith and you need to have this discipline to follow the instructions which are given by the superior. So Srimad Bhagavatam was being narrated from time immemorial. So it's not just when this knowledge was given. Yeah. Even before Vyasadeva ji gave it. So it's an eternal thing. So it's sometimes very difficult for us because we are so programmed to calculate how many years before, where is it in the history? I have not seen in any book and all. This is not subject to this mundane knowledge. Yeah. We have to have this faith that this is eternal knowledge which has been there from time immemorial and it is going to be there forever. Yeah. So that is how we understand it. We cannot come up with this historical mundane calculations that 200 years ago, 429 years ago. No, it doesn't work like that. Yeah. I'll stop sharing my screen here. We'll stop at verse 9. Any questions, any comments? We already crossed by 5 minutes. I'm sorry. I apologize for that.
So Pulatsya is just a demon. His mentioning of him doesn't, there is
From
nothing
him
is there
only,
from.
yeah, from him only all the demons, all the Rakshasas, all the Vanars, Kinnars, everyone has come from him only. Yes. So each had, they're all Prajapatis only basically. So each had his own duty. So for example, Kashyap Muni, from him all the Devatas also came, the demons are also coming from him only, the snakes are also coming from him only. So everything is coming from them. So that's the duty given to them. So they're just following the duty.
So, sir, this Sankarshan says Sanat Kumar and Sanat Kumar to Prashar and Prashar to this our matrimony.
मैत्री मुनि के गुरुजी हैं पराशर मुनि.
हाँ जी.
So ये परंपरा में आया है. The whole thing has come in that parampara.
Yeah. Thank
How
you, sir.
he has received it. Our parampara is we've received it through Srila Prabhupada, our Guru Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada, then Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Gaur Kishore Das Babaji, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, going up to all the Vaishnavas, and then Vaishnavacharyas, Shad Goswami, then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Madhavendra Puri, वैसा करके Madhvacharya, and then go to Narad Muni, yeah, Vyasdev, Narad Muni, and then Brahmaji. So that is our parampara. We are getting it in that parampara. So it can be a little bewildering, it can be a little confusing, but no need to think too much about this also. Just leave it at this. That it,
Prabhuji, Maitreya Muni's spiritual master is Parashar Muni,
yes. Yeah.
and
Correct.
Pulasya Muni is
Pulatya Muni was, yeah, he is also in the parampara only. Yeah, he's also in the parampara.
okay, but he is not a direct spiritual master of
No, not of Maitreya Muni. No,
Maitreya Muni.
no.
Okay, okay. Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for the nice
Hare
class.
Krishna. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you,
for all your
Prabhuji.
kind
We,
attention and participation. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
we'll
So,
chant Vaishnava and close, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for the game.
sure.
Thank you,
Anshakal
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
सर्वेभ्यः पतितानां पावनेभ्यो
Paneभ्यो
वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो
Vaishnavebhyo
अनन्तकोटि
Anantakoti Vaishnava ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare
Thank you very much. I'll stop sharing and I'll stop the session also.